Hello guys. So today we're going to be continuing our tracing and flip through of one of their Pokemon card binders. And we are still taking a look at some of the fire types that I had. So I organized this binder by Pokemon and by the type of Pokemon that they were. So, starting off here, a really nice, I'll take it out and show you guys, really nice Numel card. This is from one of those kind of unique sets. It says Team Magma's Numel, and you have the little Team Magma grunt down here in the corner. As you can see, they're very determined in hauling some of this kind of cargo for Team Magma. Got the little Team Magma emblem here. And for a move, they have Ember, which does 30 damage. You discard an energy attached to this Pokemon. We have another Camerupt. This one has a little bit of a wonky art style. It's a holographic back burner, which is kind of a play on words considering he's got a volcano on his back. It's Split Bomb. This card is a very memorable one to me simply because the artwork always kind of gave off a bit of a weird vibe. It's very abstract. Then we have, scoot this down a little bit so it's easier to see. Have another Camerupt. His moveset is Continuous Headbutt and Searing Flame. Quite a few of him, as you can see. This fellow here looks like he's almost taken a selfie next to a volcano. Has Fire Shard and Flamethrower. This is definitely a favorite for me as well. I have holographic Team Magma's Camerupt. These are definitely some of my favorite cards. This one they incorporate some of the team in them. As you can see, we have one of the male and female grunts. Looks like she's hanging on for dear life, and he's trying to run alongside Camerupt here. And this is their Alpha Ruby Omega Sapphire kind of an outfit look here. This set probably had an Archie and a Maxi card, I'd imagine. A very cool set. Bunch of Team Unique Pokemon there. Most reminiscent of the like the gym leader's Pokemon from the old days. Have a Magby. Just spitting a little bit of fire out into the nighttime sky, it looks like. Pokepower Baby Evolution. Once during your turn, before you attack, you may put Magmar from your hand onto Magby. This counts as evolving Magby. Remove all damage counters from Magby. We have the old school. Someone let me know that this is an e-reader card. So if you had the e-reader of your Game Boy, I believe, you would be able to scan it. So thank you to the viewer who let me know what that means. Outside of just being a really thick border with a cool symbol. It's a pretty memorable card because the artwork is kind of, the coloring is interesting. It's kind of blocky and it doesn't have very strong outlines. have Magmar blocking our way here. It's kind of striking a very Jiraiya-esque stance. And then, or sorry, Magmar. And then this is a Magmar here. This one I feel like I had seen before as a prize in one of those claw games. They used to put cards in one of the hard plastic cases, and then that would be a prize that you could kind of fish for with the claw games. It is Fire Punch and Flamethrower. Discard one fire type energy card attached to Magmar in order to use this attack. We'll shift over. Someone did comment on the last video that, wow, that is one kind of fat binder. And I'm like, that is very true. When I was a kid, I had one binder, and I was going to make absolute use of that one binder. And as an adult, it's too much of a task to make this binder smaller and consolidate it, so I've just left it, and it is absolutely ginormous. I think it would probably explode if I put one more page in here or one more card. So we have the Slugma line up next here. This one is a level 11 Slugma with steady fire breathing and body slam for moves. We have a less stylized Slugma. Looks like he's sitting amidst some volcanic rock here. His Flamethrower. And then this is one that I remember because I found him kind of odd, where he's kind of portrayed as a slug in a lot of them, but here I thought it looked like he had little feet, and this was like his body. So I never saw it as this just being like his head and his body being down here. So I was like, oh, Slugma is just this little dude with these little dangly feet, even though he's obviously more of a slug without a shell. He has Singe and Heat Tackle, which unfortunately does 10 damage to himself. I have Magcargo with the Pokebody Magma armor. Magcargo can't be asleep or paralyzed. One thing I don't know if anyone else had this issue, either with this Pokemon or with any other Pokemon, where you thought that the name had like an extra letter or was pronounced differently. I used to think Magcargo was Marcargo, and I don't know why. I guess I just thought it had an extra R in there somewhere. So for the longest time, he was Magcargo as far as I was concerned. But now I know better because I'm actually reading. He has another Pokebody in this version. Dual armor. As long as Magcargo has any fighting energy attached to it, it's both fire and fighting type. I wonder how that would benefit him. Because if it would get rid of the water weakness, that would be nice. And if it would get rid of, but then I'm like, would he have a psychic weakness then, or would he have two weaknesses? I'm kind of interested as to what the purpose of that is. Here we have a Houndour. This is a reverse hollow, which is a little hard to tell from the angle. Rear Kick and Darkness Fang. Looking pretty crisp here. And we have a level 13 Houndour with Ember and Smash Kick. This is interesting because it looks like they took like a real kind of photo and then just kind of superimposed the art on it. Interesting little background there. This is one that I definitely remember because, once again, the art is just very interestingly stylized. And for some reason, he has an apple that it looks like he bit in half completely cleanly. As if he just had like a kitchen knife at the ready. He has Pokebody of Dark Lift. If Houndour has any darkness energy attached to it, retreat cost for is 0. It's a little interesting considering he only has a 1 energy retreat cost. And Fire Breathing. Flip a coin. If heads, this attack does 10 damage plus 10 more damage. Very cute little card. Here we have another Houndour. Looks like he's trapped in some ice here. They actually let him be a darkness type in this. He has Roar. Your opponent switches the defending Pokemon with his or her benched Pokemon in Ambush. Flip a coin. If heads, this attack does 10 more damage plus the 20. So not too shabby. On to the next little side here. This, I will say, is probably my favorite Houndour card. Just because he looks so different from the other ones. He looks like an entirely different Pokemon in this, I believe. It's like he's just so bulky. He almost looks like a bear rather than a dog. And the skull is so big. This is, I think, the first card I had of him. And it's one of those e-reader cards as well. This might have actually been like a promo or something. I think this one was given to me at a card shop as part of like a tournament. I certainly didn't win any tournaments when I was a little kid at like age 5 playing, but I think I remember receiving this as like a participation card. Very cool. You had Faint Attack. Choose one of your opponent's Pokemon. This attack does 20 damage to that Pokemon. It's not affected by anything. The Houndoom G. This is back when they did the Team Galactic cards. As you can see, this is the Galactic leader. I don't remember his name. Team Galactic's Pokemon. Obviously there's some contraption going on in the background of the card there. He's looking lean and mean. Black Cry. The defending Pokemon can't retreat or use any Pokepowers during your opponent's next turn. And Dark Slash. You may discard a darkness energy attached to Houndoom G. If you do this, this attack does 40 damage plus 20 more damage. I'm hoping that with future, generations of cards and series, that they'll kind of bring back the evil team Pokemon. I think it would have been really cool had they done Team Skull Pokemon, where it's just like, Team Skull's whatever, Team Guzma's Wimpod. That would have been cool. And then take this out here to show you guys. Houndoom EX. Pretty snazzy. Nice little holographic there. It has Melting Horn and Grand Flame. Here we see someone who's a little bit newer. Fletchling line here. I'd say it's hard to pick between these two as my favorite artwork of him, but I do really love them. This one looks a little bit more like kind of CG modeled. This one is definitely artwork, like drawn normally. This little guy has got Me First, which allows you to draw a card for 1 energy, which is pretty nice. And then Peck, which takes 2 energy. Little Fletchling here only has Quick Attack. Same HP and everything. The tiny Robin Pokemon. And this little Fletchling is chilling with a Peck that only takes 1 energy, but he's got a little less HP. So he's definitely the glass cannon of the bunch here. We have Fletchinder. These look like they came kind of from like the same little 3D model or something. This little guy's got Flame Charge. Search your deck for a fire type energy and attach it to this Pokemon. Shuffle the deck afterwards. And Fire Wing. Fire Breathing seems to be a very common little card. A little move for these. Flip a coin. If heads, this attack does 20 more damage. And then here's the little pencil drawn one. Looks like he might be leaving somebody's house. Maybe he's off delivering a letter or something. Peck off. Before doing damage, discard all Pokemon tool cards attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. Now that's really nice. Sometimes it can be a really big pain in the butt when someone's got a tool attached to their Pokemon that like gives them extra defense or something like that, or reduces damage. That's a nice little gem there. Scoot over here. Have another Fletchinder. Little reverse holographic here. All he has is Glide, which for some reason is an attacking move that does 30. We have a Litleo. This line is up next. With Lunge, flip a coin. If tails, this attack does nothing. I don't think I'd be choosing him over this card any day. Combustion. Surprisingly, he can do 60 damage for a little basic card. Although he does take 3 energy, which you don't always want the basic Pokemon sitting around that long without evolving to get that extra HP. We have Pyroar. The ability Intimidating Mane. Prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's basic Pokemon. And Scorching Fang. You may discard a fire type energy attached to this Pokemon. If you do, this attack does 30 more damage. That's pretty solid, especially if, I guess, you build this little guy up. And then we have Torkoal, Live Coal. Surprisingly, he's got 100 HP. I always felt like I remembered him as having like a 60 to 80 HP card. I guess it makes sense since he can't evolve or anything. He's one that I really hope gets another form or is able to evolve in the future, because he's just he feels like kind of like the Tropius situation where it's a cool little idea, but they're just a one-form Pokemon. Also has Flamethrower. Flip a coin. If tails, discard an energy attached to this Pokemon. So that's not that bad. I feel like a lot of Flamethrowers make you discard one anyway, even without the chance of keeping it. Heatmor. This is another one where I'm like, it feels like it was kind of just made for a gimmick. This guy especially, because him and Durant came as kind of a package deal. I definitely wish there was a way that they would evolve. Either maybe you had to have them both in the party and they evolve kind of like a fusion, or I don't know. It would just be neat for them to have a little bit more story together than just, this is an anteater that's fire and that's an ant that's metal. Is Odor Sleuth. Flip 2 coins for each heads. Put a card from your discard pile into your hand. Searing Flame. 60 damage, and your opponent's active Pokemon is now burned. One thing that I will give Pokemon credit for, and I would say is kind of like a good game to get kids into, because it'll expand your vocabulary. Like as a kid, being like 5 to 10 years old, I had no idea what the word sleuth meant until I looked it up simply because I wanted to know what it meant on a Pokemon card or in the game. So this is a really good kind of thing to get your kids into, to help teach them like cool new words. Another one I remember was back when Swellow could learn Endeavor. I was like, what in the world does Endeavor mean? And I was like, oh, it's going on like a tough journey, or like putting a lot of effort into a task. You're like endeavoring to do something. So I had to look it up because I wanted to know why my bird new endeavor and why it was such a powerful move, especially if it was at low HP or like burnt or something. We have a Darumaka. Cute little guy. I absolutely adore his little snowy form. With Hammer In. It's this little move. Interesting. He always looks like he's up to some mischief with a little smile. Darumaka. Continuous Tumble. Flip a coin until you get tails. This attack does 20 damage times the number of heads. And damage counterpunch. If this Pokemon has any damage counters on it, this attack does 60 more damage. It's pretty intense. And then at the end here, we have little Vulpix. This is one of the kind of like reprints from that like newer set where they went back through and reprinted all the older cards. You can tell because the font is all kind of wonky, and this little symbol here is unique. But I think I'll leave this little section here. I do really like making this a series because I get to, kind of re-experience and re-explore these cards with you guys. So I will definitely be making another video or 20 with this binder because it is a really packed binder in terms of like how many cards we have. Like we are, a couple pages in and we've got like a million pages to go. Certainly, we won't go through all like the energy and stuff like that, but it'll be fun to explore all of the rest of the binder and kind of explore different typings and things like that. So I hope that you guys enjoyed the video and that you have a relaxing day or night. I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye, guys.